Adventure Time has many great episodes. In fact, Adventure Time has a lot of great mini arcs like The Island, where we're introduced to Finn's mom, which is great by the way, Stakes, where we find out more about Marceline the Vampire Queen, and more Marcy stuff is always great, some really interesting one-off episodes with Fiona and Cake, as well as some anthologies like The Grey Balls. Unlike the worst Adventure Time episode, where I think that bringing a character back from the dead with time travel is both the worst use of time travel and a character revival, what makes a episode great is more difficult to quantify. Some people will value it more when the episode presents idea that makes them think, similar to Hall of Egress. Some people will love it when the show goes into unexpected directions, like The Dentist, and some other people will enjoy when the focus is more on character development, like Varmints. I, even though I criticize a lot of things, like to enjoy things. I like to see characters having their happy endings sometimes, when it makes sense. Of course, happy endings are kinda ass though. So, when I say the best Adventure Time episode, that is more for clickbait, and what I actually mean, that is my favorite Adventure Time episode.
Alphanumeric.
Puhoy. That's my favorite episode. Trying to find out why I like it though is difficult because there's really nothing special about the episode at first sight. Anyways, I'm going to go through this episode while interspersing my commentary that will hopefully paint a full picture at the end. We open up with Finn sulking and Jake trying to cheer him up with a giant pillow fort. Finn is anxious that his girlfriend, Flame Princess, didn't laugh about his joke and that their relationship might be over.
Oh no! Anyway,
Jake, wanting to make clear to Finn that he's putting too much thought into this, throws his favorite mug out of the window, proclaiming that since it's gone, he doesn't care about it anymore. By the way, it is raining knives. Just one of those Adventure Time things, I guess. Finn of course doesn't understand the point and goes for more sulking inside the pillow fort. Surprisingly, the fort is bigger than it seems, and so Finn finds himself going through a magical pillow door, landing in the land of Pillow.
wow.
Finn, having the advantage of being made of flesh and having a sharp sword, slays a pillow dragon and finds himself in the position of hero in this new world. At his celebration, yes, this episode has a lot of puns, the mayor's daughter Rosa-Linen shows his interest in Finn. They dance, and when Finn asked for the exit of Pillow World, the mayor tells him that is making no sense. I like to focus here that ADT, even in its weaker episodes, has some really strong dialogue that seems to just fit into the world that they create. When Finn enters a world, he sees some pillow children running away, and one of them says this.
Hey mister, you better get one in Blanket Wagon!
I like how they gave the cute derpy pillow child a lisp, because it enhances the cute factor, which I think is the point of this whole interaction. For the pillow creatures though, the pillow dragon is an actual threat, and you notice that because they are literally running away screaming. It is moments like this that the dialogue slots in perfectly into the story and makes not only this episode, but the series as a whole so enjoyable. So after the party's over, we cut back to Jake, who just fished his favorite mug back home. Bimo calls Jake out on his bullshit, and Jake ignores Bimo, asking himself what happened to Finn. We cut back to Finn, and now he's a grown man with great blonde hair, beard, and giant bustling muscles. Finn has married Rosa-Linen and now has 2 children named after PB and Jake. It seems Finn is actually happy with his life, he has a wife, 2 children, and is basically living the TradCon life. The mayor though has found out that there is indeed a door that appears periodically which should lead back to the land of Oo. In the same scene, we can see Rosa-Linen having a pain expression on her face. Another strength of this episode is that not everything is spelled out for us. Here specifically we see Rosa-Linen being clearly worried that her husband is just going to vanish after so many years together. We cut back to Oo, and Bimo is playing with Jake's mug. Jake seems a bit jealous, and so he asks for the mug bag, bribing Bimo with hot chocolate. Bimo answers with,
Jake, you drive a hard burger.
Here I would like to highlight another thing about this episode in particular, and that is that characters are developed through their dialogue. Bimo saying burger instead of bargain makes sense because Bimo is a mix of innocent child and alien creature. It makes sense for them to get things wrong. On the other side of things, Finn is also evolving his language, and I don't only mean the tone. When Finn arrives, he sounds like a teenage boy that is also insecure about his relationship. After we cut back to him, he is confident, jokes with his children, and does not only sound mature, but as seen with the embrace of his wife, behaves maturely. In the final section, Finn, upon hearing that there is a way out of Pillow World, searches for a really long time for the exit, finally meeting a sage that is more a joke character. He comes to realize that he spent so much time in this world that this truly has become his new home. After completely misremembering what Jake said to him, he decides to stay in Pillow World with his family. This of course is a great depiction on how Finn sees Jake. In his eyes, Jake is this wise old dude that always has an answer to everything, which of course doesn't align with reality, but does align with the overall message of the episode. We cut one last time to Jake and Bimo, who are playing a German game called Hoppe Hoppe Reiter, where you toss your baby up in the air and catch them, hopefully. Bimo inquires why Jake doesn't play with his kids, and Jake becomes sad after explaining that rainicorn children don't need their parents after a few hours after birth. If you think all of this is kind of disjointed, it's not. Well, not entirely. In the beginning, Jake tells Finn that
You're getting all hung up on imaginary problems. You gotta focus on what's real, man.
Jake is right with his statement. His example is just flawed. The mug is real and his feelings towards the mug are also real. That is the reason why he gets the mug back later on. Him being jealous of the mug is still in line with his real feelings. His feelings towards his children are also real, and that is also why it makes him sad. In the pillow world, Finn is living a real life with wife and children, and the obsession with wanting to leave even after finding happiness makes him actually suffer to the point that he even lost an arm. Not only that, his wife and children are also suffering with him. It is only when Finn embraces what is real to him that he finds happiness and dies. That's right, in the pillow world Finn dies and is somehow resurrected in the land of Oo. While he's being resurrected, he sees Gob, who is the embodiment of chaos. Upon returning to Oo, Finn receives a call from FP, who explains that she actually did find the joke funny, and Finn forgets everything about the Pillow World. Pillow World is never brought up in Adventure Time again, making this a very contained episode. The words Puhoy are repeated at some point, but beyond that, there is, as far as I remember, nothing calling back to this episode. Okay, this is a lot, and I already unpacked a lot of things while I was summarizing the episode. Still, there is a bit more under the hood if you're willing to make some more speculative claims. The episode revolved around Jake's quote that you shouldn't get hung up on things that are not real. So we start in the real world and enter this imaginary one. For anyone that ever watched the Chronicles of Narnia movies, read the books maybe, or is aware of Alice in Wonderland, it is basically the same concept. In both Narnia and Wonderland, the protagonists return from their adventures and think that it was all a dream, but as it turns out, later it was real. We have something similar here where Finn thinks it was all a dream and forgets about it, but the audience can make a safe conclusion that the Pillow World is real in the Adventure Time universe, because the Chaos God Gulb is literally there when Finn dies. It still leaves room for interpretation if everything was a dream or not, but given that the episode is all about embracing what is real and Finn only escapes Pillow World once he embraces his life there, I think it's safe to assume that everything was real. There's also one parallel between Pillow World and Oo that is really interesting. Finn throws his daughter in the air and catches her, embracing the rest of the family, and at some point in Oo, Jake is playing with Bimo in a similar fashion, but he's sad about it because his children grow up so fast that he could hardly play with them. Maybe it was never intended as a parallel, but it's interesting nonetheless. Throughout the series, Finn loses his right arm, often, and he often dreams of having mechanical limbs, and actually does get a mechanical limb at the end of the series, which could be interpreted as someone that has body integrity dysphoria. BID basically causes someone to wish to not be able-bodied, but have some sort of handicap. In Pillow World, he seemingly loses his right arm that is replaced by a pillow arm, which plays into the whole idea of embracing things that are real, in this case, Finn's feelings. This one is a bit more complicated though. PID is a disorder for a reason. There's no advantage of having any particular limb cut off. Living with a physical handicap, at least in our current world, is not easy, and depending on how handicapped you are, you will have to take meds for the rest of your life. Still, that doesn't mean PID is not real. It is very real for people to suffer from that disorder, and I'm sure psychologists and biologists are constantly trying to find out a treatment for it. Again, I can't confirm if this was the writer's intention, but given that the loss of the right arm appears often throughout the show, I can't put that idea away. Coincidence or not, in the newspaper from the future we can see the following line: "Do we go to school to learn about illness?" Adventure Time writers and animators certainly have their fun with what they put on screen.
Hello, sheep. You have more fluff than sense. Mwah.
When I was making my PB video, link in the info card, like, comment and subscribe with the bell notifs on, I had to rewatch most of Adventure Time, and for some reason, this is the episode that just stuck with me the most. The first viewing is just enjoyable because it's basically Adventure Time Narnia, but every consecutive viewing revealed something new to me. The whole theme of embracing what is real and disregarding what is not is an interesting discussion that doesn't have a clear-cut answer because, well, feelings are complicated. I also just like to see Finn happy for once. That boy goes through so much stuff, and it's truly incredible how after all that crazy shit happens, he just keeps going. Hopefully, I could show one of what I would consider best episodes of Adventure Time. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to give me money on Patreon. Take care of yourselves and have a nice, wonderful day.